Hey, hi, hello, welcome to your yoga sculpt class for glute strengthening. For today's class, we will need some weights. If you don't have any weights at home, you can always improvise. You can also do the class without any weights at all. You'll still get a benefit out of it, but you'll get even more if you're adding a little bit of extra weight. So if you don't have free weights, you can always use water bottles, you can use water jugs, milk cartons, juice jugs. Yeah, I'm going to be using a kettlebell today, but you can also use free weights. That works as well. I'm working with 15 pounds. Do what works for you. We are exclusively working the legs with the weight. So yeah, if you've only got 2 or 3 pounds at home, that's fine. That'll work. If you have heavier weight, I urge you to go with that. With that, let's find a comfortable seat and we'll start the playlist. So make your way to the play button and we'll start it in 3, 2, and 1. Once you've got the music going, find a comfortable seat. You can rock from side to side, feeling your sitting bones pressing down into the earth. Stretch your spine long, roll the shoulders back and down. Take a big breath in through the nose. And side out. Close the eyes and begin to feel the texture of this transition from whatever you were doing before to arriving on your mat right now. Notice what's coming up for you in the present. And remember that in any of the yoga sculpt classes I teach, we are challenging ourselves a little bit more than we normally do on our yoga mats. So I really urge you to continuously check in with yourself and how you're feeling mentally, physically, emotionally, and to take breaks as you need to, and to think of this checking in and offering yourself rest as a form of self-care. So we are both strengthening ourselves today so that we feel better when we move through our everyday lives, and that's a form of self-care, but also checking in and offering rest is kind of the other side of that piece of self-care. Now let's start to deepen the breath here. Inhale through the nose. Out through the nose, relax the shoulders. In through the nose. Out through the nose. This is the breath for the practice until we start to work the core or we pick up the weights. Last breath together. Out through the nose. Continuing this breath, finding your cadence to the inhales and the exhales, creating a little bit of rasping at the back of the throat, finding that ujjayi breathing. Last breath in. Get empty. Gently blink the eyes open. Let's find child's pose. So roll over the knees, big toes touch. Knees about as wide as your mat. Push the hips down to the heels and walk the hands out until the forehead touches the earth. This is what you can offer yourself if you need to rest today. Child's pose is always here for you. There's never a point in the class where you can't drop the knees and turn inward to yourself. Let's take 2 or 3 more rounds of breath. With your next inhale, rise up to tabletop, stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. Inhale, cow pose, drop the belly, pull the heart forward, lift the chin, lift the gaze. Exhale, push the floor away, round the spine. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, back to cat. Inhale, spinal extension, arching through the spine. Exhale, spinal flexion, rounding through the spine. One more round. Exhale. Inhale, neutral spine, tabletop. Let's start to fire up the core a little bit here. So I want you to release your right hand and bring it to your low belly. And notice as soon as you release any part of your foundation, your limbs supporting you, the low belly will tend to dip. I want you to work against this tendency. So take that hand to the low belly and press the low belly up against the spine so that you're feeling the whole torso lift up out of your limbs and you're finding that slight core engagement. Keep that engagement. Replace the right palm on the earth. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lift the right knee towards the back right corner of the mat. And you'll feel the right glute engage strongly. That's what we're looking for here. We've got a couple of pulses. Inhale to hover the right knee underneath you. Exhale to lift the knee back. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Now, as you lift that leg and you find it to squeeze through the glute, the belly will have a tendency to dip again. You're constantly working against that, thinking about lifting the low belly up and in. We're here for another 8. Think about this diagonal line towards the back right corner of the mat. The knee is magnetized on that line. Last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, lift at the top. Exhale, knee draws to the left elbow underneath the body. You round the spine as you tap knee to elbow. And then inhale, lift the knee back to that fire hydrant position, but the belly stays lifted. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, contract the core. Inhale, contract the glute. Exhale, contract the core. Inhale, glute. Core. Glute. Last 3, 2, and 1. Lift, tabletop. Swivel the hips from side to side, rinse that out, let that go. You might even feel a little bit more work in the left outer hip because it was doing a lot of work to stabilize what was going on in the body. Let's sit back to the heels and we'll warm up the wrists a little bit. Stretch the arms overhead or directly out in front of you. Flashlights, curling the fingertips in to make fists, and then flicking water off of the fingertips. Pick up the pace a little bit here. Again, you can always drop the hands if you are feeling like it's too much on the shoulders. We're here for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake that out, let it go. You've got 2 mixing bowls right next to you. You're going to put your hands into those mixing bowls. Pinky edge side of each hand is scraping the edges of those bowls, scooping out whatever goodness is in there. I always like to talk about what's in those bowls. I know I've got some cookie dough in one bowl, maybe some freshly chopped fruit in the other. Maybe you're more of a protein shake person. Maybe you're like, I want some Jell-O in there. Maybe something a little bit weird today. We're here for the last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We take the thumb edge side of each hand, scrape the edges of the bowls. Ooh, a little bit of an internal rotation. This side might feel a little bit awkward. That's okay. We don't have quite as much internal rotation through the wrists as we do external rotation. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake that out. From here, bring the palms to touch in prayer. Open the palms like the pages of a book. Pinky stay connected. And then let the backs of the hands connect. Turn the fingertips down towards the floor. Keep the wrists connected as you roll the thumbs towards each other and then palms connect again. Couple of rounds like this. As the backs of the hands connect, find a little bit of push there. So you're stretching out the backs of the wrists. Ooh. Last 3, 2, and 1. Flip it and reverse it. Move the opposite direction. And if this throws you for a loop and you're like, wait, how did she do that? How come this is so much harder going the opposite way? That's pretty normal. And that might happen throughout today's class. We're here to challenge our movement patterns. Every time we step on the yoga mat, we are not taking our assumptions about how the body moves for granted. We are aware, as much as we can be, of every choice that we're making, noticing the places that we're not putting our attention. 3, 2, and 1. Shake that out. Let's come back to tabletop and we'll warm up the glute on the other side. tabletop, stack shoulders over wrist. Little adjustment, left hand to the low belly. Lift the low belly up into the spine. Left palm to the earth, big breath in. Exhale, left knee towards the back left corner of the mat. Squeeze the left glute. Inhale, hover the leg. Exhale, kick it back. And remember that as you lift the leg, the belly will want to dip. Continuously lift the core up and into the spine to keep the torso stable. We're here for 2. And 1. One more set of 8. Last 3, 2, and 1. Inhale at the top. Exhale, knee to right elbow, round the spine, contract the core. Inhale, lift, neutral spine. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. We're here for 3. Squeeze the glute. Contract the core. 2. Last 1. Inhale, lift. Exhale, set it down. Swivel the hips from side to side. Let's tuck the toes and send the hips up and back to our first downward facing dog. Take a moment to get comfortable here. So pedal through the feet, little sway of the hips from side to side. Drop the head, release through the back of the neck. As you're letting the lower body be a little bit looser, a little bit more flowy or dancey or organic to what you need in this moment, make sure that you're spreading all 10 fingers wide and you're grounding all 10 knuckles by pushing them down into the floor. Hug the armpits towards each other, rolling biceps up towards the sky, and then take a big breath in. Lift your sitting bones as high as they'll go. Little bend in the knees, draw the heels towards the floor. Inhale, lift the heels, lift the hips, look forward, bend the knees with the exhale and walk the feet up behind the wrists. Inhale into a halfway lift, heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. As the arms lift, squeeze the glutes, lift the belly. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway, belly in. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to our first plank pose. Squeeze the glutes, lift your thighs up towards the sky, and then think belt buckle to belly button. So you're lifting the low belly, the hip points are drawing up towards the low ribs. Take a breath. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Push all 10 toenails down, lift the kneecaps up off the floor, and then inhale, peel the chest up and back, baby cobra. Exhale, lower forehead to the earth. Inhale, peel up, baby cobra, glutes squeeze, active legs, open heart. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, baby cobra, we pause. Exhale, hover your hands off the earth, using just the strength of the back to stay lifted, shoulders squeeze. Take one more breath in. Can you lift that chest a little bit higher? Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes, lift the thighs. Inhale, push up top of the plank. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog, hips high. A little bend in the knees, heels don't have to touch. Push through the palms, big breath in. Pull the navel into the spine with the exhale. Inhale, lift the heels, lift the hips, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step, step, or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, mountain pose, glutes on, belly in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, step back. This time we take a full vinyasa, lower, chaturanga dandasana, elbows bend back to kiss the ribs. Inhale, push the floor away to broaden the heart into upward facing dog. Exhale, look to the navel. Let the navel pull back to lift the hips to the dog pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, send the right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, step the right foot through between the palms, drop the back knee down, inhale, lift up, low lunge. Stack your left hip over your left knee, and then find a little bit of that pelvic tilt we've been working with in so many of my classes. So low belly lifts, tailbone drops. As this happens, The left glute squeezes, and the low belly, the low core is working. Keep this all engaged. Let the hips slide forward and down so you're finding extension through the front of the left hip. Inhale, reach up. Soften the shoulders. Maybe the hips slide forward and down a little bit more. Keep the glutes on, low belly lifting. Last breath like this. Exhale, hands to the mat, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, spin the back heel down to the floor. With the inhale, reach the left arm to the top of the mat, circle it all the way up to the sky, and let it pull you up into Warrior Two. As you land in Warrior Two, find heel to heel alignment, and then put a little bit more pressure, power, and weight into the pinky edge side of the back foot. With the work in the back leg, let the front knee drift forward a little bit more, and you'll add more work to the front leg as well. And you're like, this makes it feel worse. I am feeling like my legs are on fire. Yes, you're doing Warrior Two right. That's it. Breathe. Open the arms wide. Gaze is steady over the front middle fingertip. We've got one more breath in. One more breath out. Lock the legs in place. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle, elbow drops to the knee. Inhale, left arm high to the sky. Squeeze your glutes. Push the groin towards the left side of the mat. That's how much the glutes are working here. As that happens, you might be able to roll the chest open to the sky. The bottom ribs wrap up towards the sky as well. Last breath in. Breathe out. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the palms to the earth. Step the right foot back into plank. Option to take the vinyasa or choose to skip it. Remember that you can always modify by taking cobra instead. Inhale to the back bend. Exhale, take it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, step the left foot through. Drop the back knee down. Inhale, low lunge, shallow low lunge to start. Find the tilt of the pelvis. This tailbone points down towards the front heel. The low hip points are drawing up towards the low ribs. Low belly engaged, right glute squeezes, and then allow the hips to slide forward. So you're getting the extension from the front of the hip, not from the core bottoming out, and you're crunching the low back. Breathe in, lift the arms. With the exhale, hips slide forward and down a little bit more if you have the room. Breathe in. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. Spin the back heel down to the floor. Inhale, right arm to the top of the mat, and then all the way up to the sky, wheeling you open into Warrior Two. Find heel to heel alignment. Put pressure and weight into the outer edge of the back foot, especially through the heel. And then let the front knee drift forward, arms open wide. We're here for 3 breaths. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended elbow drops to the knee. Inhale, right arm high. Keep the pressure between the feet like you're tearing the mat apart between them. And then glutes squeeze together, pushing the groin towards the right side of the mat. We're just starting to find a little bit more engagement in more challenging poses with these glutes. Last breath in. Last breath out, legs stay exactly as they are. With the inhale, reverse warrior, lift up and out of the left hip crease. Exhale, cartwheel the palms to the floor, step back, plank. Option to take the vinyasa, or you can always choose to skip it by lifting the hips high. We all meet in downward facing dog in the next breath. From down dog, inhale, lift the heels, lift the hips, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step, step, or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Utkatasana, and today I'm going to recommend that your Utkatasana, you take the feet a little bit wider, like hip width apart, and then tear the mat apart between the feet. Outer hips are turned on, sit back and down deeper now that you're activating more of the strength through the lower body. Big breath in, reach up. Sit low, weight in the heels. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, hands behind the head, elbows wide. Breathe in, pull the elbows back, lift the chest. Exhale, crunch. Round forward, maybe forehead comes all the way down towards the knees. Inhale, lift back up to chair. Exhale, fold. Tear the mat apart between the feet. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Last two. Lower. Lift. Lower. Lift. Exhale, we sit all the way down to the floor for Navasana. Maybe the hands help you get there. As you catch the balance on your sitting bones, lift the feet. Inner thighs squeeze, inner ankles squeeze. If you want a little bit more here, can you lift from the inner thighs to take the heels all the way up towards the sky, arms reach forward. Big breath in. Big breath out. Pull the navel into the spine. Big breath in. Exhale, lay yourself back to low boat. So glue the low back to the floor. Glutes squeeze, inner thighs hug together. You're reaching out through the toes. From here, let's take the hands behind the head. Toes up to the sky, stacking over the hips. Inhale, lower the legs halfway to the floor, keeping that low back glued down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. The upper body stays stable. Shoulders are mostly off the floor. If you want a little bit more here, can you get the bottom tips all the way up off the floor while keeping the elbows wide? Make that exhale strong. So every time you're pushing the air out through the teeth, you're pulling the low belly in. So this is one of the most significant things we need to do before we start to work the glutes, is really make sure that the low core is working. If we don't have the engagement of the core, oftentimes a lot of the work that we're doing in glute strengthening is actually just wrenching the low back. So the low back needs the support of the core before we do anything with the glutes. We're here for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend the knees. Keep the hips, or keep the knees stacked over the hips. Inhale. Exhale, bicycle to the right. Left leg goes long. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Every time you're twisting, you're finding a little exhale. Keeping that low back down. No space between your low back and the mat. I like to pause at center and stack the knees over the hips, but you might just like to turn from side to side. I find that my low back lifts a lot if I do that, so I like to do these a little bit slower with a little bit more intention to make sure that I'm doing them safely and efficiently, so I'm getting the most out of them. And you might think, yeah, but you can do so many more of these if you go faster. True, but you're more likely to hurt the low back, and you might not be targeting the core as efficiently as you could otherwise. We're here for another 8 each side. Keep it moving, keep the breath flowing. Last 6. Last 5. 4. 3. Final 2. And 1. Knees into the chest, drop the head, take a big breath in. And side out. From here, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, hip width apart. Inhale, push the feet down, lift the hips up for bridge pose. Now, this doesn't have to be your biggest bridge pose. It doesn't have to be your highest bridge pose. That's okay. Let the hands rest at your sides, palms turn face up. Tear the mat apart between the feet like we did in our chair pose, and you'll feel the knees move towards the outer edges of the mat. So feet and knees move out. At the same time, hug the inner thighs together and squeeze the glutes. Woo! Big breaths into the belly for 5. Tear the mat apart between the feet, hug inner thighs, glutes on. Take final breath in. Final breath out. Inhale, lower the hips to touch the floor. Exhale, lift right back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Couple rounds of these. Now, as you're doing this, tear the mat apart between the feet. That pressure stays there the entire time. The glutes and the inner thighs are releasing and then engaging as you lift. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Hold at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. All right, from here, we're going to increase the intensity. Hug the right knee to the chest, hands wrap around the shin. Big breath in. Exhale, push the floor away, lift the hips up. Woo! So there's no cheating here, right? With this knee pulled into the chest, this right glute can't do any work. We have to rely on the left glute engaging. We're just holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Exhale, lift right back up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Right back up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Right foot to the mat. Left knee comes in. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lift. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Lift it up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Right back up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Hug the knees into the chest. Roll around across the low back. From here, let's start to rock forward and back along the length of the spine. We've warmed up the glutes, and now we're going to work the legs a little bit more strategically. Inhale right up into chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, rise to stand. Let's pick up our weights. First, a little bit with the weights. So regardless of what kind of weight you have today, you're going to hold it at heart center to start. Roll the shoulders back and down, heart is open and easy. Little squeeze between the shoulder blades here. And then step the feet hip width, or a little bit wider than hip width apart actually. Toes turn out. So this is one of the major things that can really help you target the glutes. I tend to be a very quad heavy person, so that whenever I'm doing squats, I really feel it in the quads rather than in the glutes. Turning the toes out will help with that. Tear the mat apart between the feet, just like we did in bridge, just like we did in chair. Inhale, hinge at the hips, keeping the low back long. With the exhale, with the inhale, we bend the knees and sink down. Exhale, straighten the legs, you're still hinged forward, and then squeeze the glutes, come upright. Inhale, hinge, bend and sink. Exhale, straighten, unhinge, squeeze the glutes. That's it, inhale. Exhale, make these 2 separate movements. Inhale, hinge, lower, straighten, lift. Inhale, hinge, lower, straighten, squeeze, hinge, lower, straighten, squeeze, hinge, lower, straighten, squeeze, hinge, lower, straighten, squeeze, hinge, lower, straighten, squeeze. Inhale all the way down. Exhale, push the floor away. Keep tearing the mat apart. 6 more. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Set the weight down. Take a moment. From here, walk all the way to the top of the mat and then turn to your left. So you're facing the long side of your mat. Feet are about hip width apart, so a little bit narrower. Shoulders back and down. You can also do this without weight if you prefer. We're going to baby step towards the back of the mat. So tear the mat apart between the feet. Little tiny steps with the hips back and down. Woo! And what we're doing here is turning on the outer hips and really starting to work these kind of rotator cuff muscles of the hip joints. Now, the reason we're taking small steps is that as soon as you start to take big steps, this right hip is going to lift up. And I want you to try to keep the hips on the same plane the entire time. Woo! Okay, I'm like, that weight is too heavy for me. I'm going no weights, but that's up to you. You decide what works for you. We're going to the back of the mat again. Breathing, sitting back and down, low belly in. Keep the low back long. We're not popping the booty back here. Woo! Breathe. Coming up to the top of the mat again. We're going back to the back of the mat again. Small steps, tear the mat apart between the feet. As soon as both feet are on the floor at the same time, the motion is outward with both feet. To the top. We've got one more round. So a little bit lower. Low belly in. Woo! And if you're like, I'm struggling with the integrity of like my low back, I'm struggling with feeling that tearing the mat apart between the feet feeling, drop your weights. Let that go. This is hard enough without any added weight. And if you're like, I'm killing it, I'm feeling it in my hips, this feels good, great. Good for you. You're crushing it. We're here for last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rise to stand, shake that out. Woo! The outer hips should be feeling it. From here, we're gonna pick up that weight again. This time we're gonna do some deadlift squats. So feet hip width apart, toes turn out again. Let's set the weight down for a moment. You're tearing the mat apart between the feet. Bend the knees lightly, hips back and down. Now, as I'm doing this again, I'm not popping that booty back. We're not in the club today. You're lifting the low belly, keeping the low back long. Big breath in. Exhale, straighten the legs, but stay hinged forward. Squeeze the glutes, lift all the way up. It's the same thing as the last one. Inhale, hinge, bend the knees lower. Exhale, straighten the legs, squeeze the glutes to lift up. That's it. Inhale to lower. Exhale, straighten the legs, unhinge. Hinge, lower. Exhale, lift. And then bring some attention to what's going on in the outer glute. So as I'm lifting up here, I'm thinking about the energy moving from the feet that are tearing the mat apart, moving all the way up through the outer edges of the legs, and then sliding all the way up into the glutes to create really strong engagement. And you can do this with free weights if you've got them. You can simply hold one in each hand or hold one depending on how heavy your weights are. Even if you're doing this without weights, you're still getting the benefit of just releasing and contracting those glutes. You know how when you're moving boxes or you're moving something heavy and people tell you to lift with the legs rather than the back? This is what they mean. This is what we're working right now. We're here for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, set it down. Hands to the hips. What's coming up for you? What's present? Breathe. Okay, folks, we're going to do one more thing that's really targeting the glutes with this heavy weight. We're going to need a block. You can also use a stack of books. You can use a step stool. You can use a chair, whatever you have available to you. But you want to have something that you can place one leg on. One leg can rest on that little bit of elevation. So we'll take the left foot forward. We'll step the right foot back. The shoelace side of that right foot rests on whatever you've got going back there. Bend down, bend in the knees, pick up the weight. It comes to the chest. With the inhale, we bend the left knee. We get low, hinging forward at the hips. Exhale, rise. That's it. Left glute squeezes at the top. And if you're like me and you're using a block that's wobbling all over the place, that's okay. Do the best that you can. We're here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the both feet down and then the weight down. Let's switch to the other side. So if you need to move your block or your stack of books, this time it's the left foot on the stack. The right foot is working. The right foot is forward. Bend the knee, hinge forward at the hips, pick up the weight. It comes to the chest. Big breath in, lower, bending the standing leg. Exhale, lift. And if you're like me and you need to adjust this block because it's too far from you, go ahead and do that. We're here for 8, Last 3. Squeeze the right glute at the top. Last 1. Step down, set the weight at the top of the mat. You can move that block off to the side. We will not need it for the rest of the practice. At the top of the mat, inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Squeeze the glutes, lift the belly. Notice how light the arms feel. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, take the vinyasa or choose to skip it, you decide. Inhale, cobra up dog. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, step the right foot through between the palms. From here, you're gonna bring this weight to the outer edge of your right foot. So whatever weight that you've got available to you, it goes to the outer edge of the right foot. Inhale, rise to high lunge without the weight. Shorten your stance up just a little bit. Back heel is elevated. Left hand comes to the hip. Right hand reaches down for the weight. You're hinged forward. With the exhale, rise, bringing the chest upright and strengthening both legs. Straightening both legs, rather. Inhale, lower. Exhale, rise. We're here for 6. Last 2. Last 1. Set the weight down. Inhale, reach the arms up, high lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Turn your back toes out. Goddess pose, sit down right between the heels. Make sure that you're pressing through all 4 corners of both feet so the knees don't roll in. They stay stacked over the ankles. Hands to the hips. We're pulsing towards the floor for 16 counts. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, pivot to face the top of the mat. Inhale, step up to warrior 3. Back leg lifts, left glute squeezes. Lightness through the chest as you lift the navel up and in. We've got one more big breath in. Feel the length from the crown of the head through the heel. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Little bend in your standing leg if you need to get the hands down. And I'm going to jump back on my mat a little bit here. Big breath in. Exhale, bend your standing leg. Tap the left knee to the right calf. Inhale, lift the left leg. Squeeze the left glute. Exhale, knee to calf. Lift. Lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. Lift. Curl. Inflate. Deflate. Another 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Chamber the knee. Inhale, supported warrior 3. Exhale, step the left foot to the back of the mat and then the right foot. Both heels fall to the left. Inhale, right arm high, side plank. Squeeze the glutes, hug left hip up to the sky. Last breath here. Exhale, right palm down, take the vinyasa or choose to skip. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, take it back, down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through. Take your weight, move it to the outer edge of the left foot. And then inhale, rise without the weight, high lunge. Shorten your stance just a little bit. Back heel stays elevated, back knee is bent. Right hand comes to the hip, hinge from the hips, reach down and catch the weight. Exhale, rise to stand, both legs straighten. Inhale, bend and tap. Exhale, lift. Glute squeeze at the top. For another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the weight down. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, elevate the back heel, turn the toes out, sit down into goddess pose. Hands to the hips. Again, repulse for 16. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pivot to face the top of the mat. High lunge. Inhale, step up, warrior 3. Navel in, wrap the left hip crease back. Breathe. Last inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Little bend in your standing leg for supported warrior 3. We bend the standing leg. We chamber the right knee, tapping it to the left calf. Inhale, lift, squeeze the right glute. And lower. Lift, find the engagement. And lower. Lift. Lower. Lift. Lower. Squeeze. Curl. Squeeze. Curl. Lift. Last 6. Final 3. Last one. Kick it back. Curl in. Kick it back. Step back. Plank. Both heels fall to the right. Inhale. Left arm high. Side plank. Glutes on. Right hip hugs up to the sky. Exhale. Left palm down. Take the vinyasa or choose to skip. Inhale. Back bend. Exhale. Take the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Let it go. In through the nose. Blow it out through the lips. Last one, inhale. As you exhale through the nose, drop the knees. Move your weight off to the side. We won't need it for the rest of the practice. From here, let's lay down on the right side body. We're going to work the outer hips just a little bit more. This is the last piece of the work here. So you're going to come down all the way onto the right upper arm. The head rests in the right hand. Knees are slightly bent. Lift the navel in and squeeze the glutes. You're still finding that tuck of the tailbone that we found in low lunge and plank pose throughout the practice. Left hand comes to the left hip, and you're going to make a little C shape with this hand. You're going to cup that upper crest of your pelvis. You're going to push that away from you. This is to keep the side body long because we don't want to be compensating with the side body. We want the work to come from the hip. So keep pressure of this hand moving away from you, pushing the pelvis away from you. Straighten the left leg, flex the foot. Big breath in. Exhale, lift the pinky edge side towards the sky. Inhale, lower to hover. Exhale, lift. We have a couple rounds of these. I want you to notice when you're doing this, if you're lifting too high, the side body is going to collapse and you're going to feel your hand kind of roll into the flesh of your side body. Don't let that happen. Don't let the hip on this left side roll up towards the ribs. The hip stays in the exact same place so that we're working these outer hip muscles. Glutes on, navel in. I'm sweaty. I hope you are too. We're here for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. At the top, we pulse at the top for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Oh, it's amazing how little movement can make a huge impact and create a lot of intensity. Let's roll over onto the left side. I'm going to swing around so I can keep facing you. Come all the way down onto the left side. The head rests in the hand. Glutes on, navel in. Tuck the pelvis. Right hand cups the top of that right hip crest. Kick the right leg long, flex the toes, take a breath in. Exhale, lift. You don't have to go very far to feel that tightening sensation in the outer hip. Try lifting the heel more than you're lifting the toes. So you're keeping the foot parallel to the floor the entire time. We're here for another 8. Use your breath. That breath firms the navel up and in, keeping a neutral pelvis. Last 4. Last 3. Stick with me for 2. And 1. At the top, we pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Rest. Ugh. Okay. From here, let's come up to a seat. We're going to cross the ankles, roll over the knees, and we're going to come to kind of a crouching position. So palms on the earth. If you have a hard time reaching the earth here, remember that you can always bring weights underneath you. You can also use a water bottle. If you have blocks at home, that also works. Okay, little bend in both knees, low belly up and in, low back is long. Take a breath. We draw the right heel towards the back right corner of the mat, just like the fire hydrant we did at the beginning, but now this hip is going to be carrying the entire weight of the leg extended rather than bent. Inhale, hover the leg underneath you. Exhale, lift. We're just here for 6 more. Turn the inner arch of the foot down towards the floor. The pinky edge side is lifting up towards the sky. Last 2. And 1. Little pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Those outer hips are getting a workout today. Let's switch to the other leg. Little bend in both knees, low belly in. Exhale, lift the left foot towards the back left corner of the mat. Use the diagonal line here. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. This is it. Number 1. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Place your weights off to the side or anything that you've used to support yourself. Feet hip width apart. Bend the knees. Take a deep forward fold. Shake out the head. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, step the right foot to the back of the mat. Walk the left toes over to the left edge of the mat. Toes turn out at a 45-degree angle. Drop the back knee down. From here, push through the palms and push through your front foot. Lift the hips up and back a little bit. And then again, think about scooping low belly up and in, squeezing that right glute. Keep the engagement. Let the hips slide forward and down. You'll get the extension from the right hip rather than from the core. Drop the head. If you want to come down to forearms, that's up to you. We're here for 4 breaths. Inhale up to tall arms if you've come out of this. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. We step the left foot back. We step the right foot forward. Right toes turn out, drop the back knee down. Lift the hips up and back a little bit. Think about drawing the hip points up towards the low ribs. Think about folding your belly button in towards the spine. Keep that engagement, left glutes working, hips slide forward and down for the hip extension. Couple rounds of breath. Same options on this side to come down to the forearms, but relax head, neck, and shoulders wherever you are. Inhale up to tall arms if you've come down. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knees, step back to plank, drop the knees, cross the ankles behind you, roll over the feet, and let's take figure 4. We'll take it seated today, so turn the fingertips to the back of the mat, palms down. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, pulling the toes back towards the shin. Drive the heel, or rather the outer edge of the ankle into the knee, and then push your right knee away from you. This might be enough. If you want more, walk the hands in closer to sit up a little bit taller, lifting the chest to meet the shin, and breathe. We did a lot of work in the outer hips, so this should feel like a pretty good release. If you want to explore a little bit more dynamic movement here, both knees can swivel lightly from side to side. You might find a pocket of sensation there that you want to pause and breathe into. Last big breath. And switch, right foot to the floor, left ankle crosses the right knee. Flex the toes, inhale, lift the chest. Push the left ankle into the right knee. That'll help open up the left knee a little bit more. You can always lift the chest up, walk the hands in. You might also try walking your front foot in. That can also up the intensity. If you like the swiveling, bring that in, but go gently and don't go too quickly. We don't need to tear anything in our hips. We don't need to tweak anything in the hips. Be gentle with yourself. Last breath here. Exhale, release, and lay yourself down on your back. Hug the knees into the chest. With the inhale, reach right arm out to the right. Exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Knees closer to the left armpit will make this more intense. Knees closer to the top of the mat will make it less intense. Last breath here. Exhale, pull the navel down, lift the knees to center. Inhale, squeeze the knees into the chest. Stretch the left arm out to the left, and with the exhale, knees drop to the right for 3 breaths. Last breath. Pull the navel down, lift the knees back to the center. Catch the outer edges of the feet for happy baby. Exhale, release the feet and start to make your way into Shavasana. If there is another pose that you need to make your practice feel complete, like a shoulder stand or plow pose or even legs up the wall, you've got about 5 breaths here to explore and then make your way into your Shavasana when you're ready. If you have more time to stay and would like to do so, go for it. If you're ready to come out with me, take a big breath in. Sigh it out. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, full body stretch. Exhale, knees into the chest, roll to one side. You can end practice here or meet me in a comfortable seat with the hands at heart center. And we'll end practice with a moment of gratitude as we always do. A little bit of gratitude to be moving and breathing today. A little bit of gratitude to be able to step outside of our thoughts and check in with what's actually going on in the present moment. And a little bit of gratitude for the moments where we offer ourselves rest. Thumbs up to the third eye between the brows. Big breath in. Sigh it out. As we bow forward in reverence to each other, together we say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this glute strengthening class. If you weren't aware, I have been struggling with my own pelvic instability issues as well as a groin injury. And I have to say that doing these exact same exercises that we did in today's class has really helped me to find stability and strength and start to take some of the pressure off other parts of my body that were compensating. So I hope that today's class did the same for you. Return to it whenever you need to be reminded of the strength of your foundations. Until we meet again on the mat, namaste.